speaker is a global renewable energy expert and entrepreneur. He is the managing director of the California Clean Energy Fund. He's the author of Rooftop Revolutions, How Solar Power Can Save Our Economy and Our Planet from Dirty Energy. And he sits on boards of several solar startups, including Power Hive and Sunergize, which are both companies delivering electricity to communities at the bottom of the pyramid with solar and storage in both Kenya and Fiji. Please welcome Danny Kennedy.
Thank you very much. It's a great honour to be here as the token white male to talk to you about investment, jobs, risk, and serious things like that. To start it off, I wanted to tell you a little bit about my background, which started about 2006 with this project, which is meant to come up on the screen, but it's not yet. That we started as an idea for the Sydney Theatre Company to go solar and got it going. Unfortunately, I didn't get to build it, but that's the break sometimes in business. Suntech did it, wonderful work. But it was at a time when there were fewer than 3,000 solar roofs in Australia. This was by far and away the biggest design at the time. Since then, there have been over 1.5 million solar roofs installed in Australia, thanks to all of you. This rooftop revolution that's driven scale, made solar pretty ubiquitous in places like Australia, driven economies of scale, and therefore dropped the cost enormously of what it means to buy a solar panel or to get electricity from solar. In fact, if you're building a new solar or power system of any kind in about 60 countries around the world, the ones where most of the population is in the tropics, for example, it's cheaper to do it with solar than with any other technology today. In 60 countries, solar is because we've scaled solar and it has risen to the forefront such that in the world last year it grew 50% from 2016. China and the United States added dozens of gigawatts of new solar in that 1 year. In fact, what China did last year was as much solar as there was on Earth by the end of 2010. So we're scaling solar. It's rising to the dominant place, which rightfully it will probably take in energy systems worldwide, with companion technologies like storage and wind and so on. While coal is crashing, coal, in that period of a decade or so, has gone through more change than it had for over 100 years before it. The electricity sector, in fact, is going through what we call in the business a disruption. It's a bit like cell phones taking out landlines, or the horse and buggy being disrupted by the automobile. The coal industry has fallen precipitously. In fact, just last year, new additions and proposals for new coal plants in the world were written down 2/3. 66% of them were just taken off the prospect list. The Chinese, in this year alone, it's March now, right? January, February, March, have stopped or mothballed more new coal plant proposals than the entire Australian electricity grid. The United States, still one of the great economies of the world, still, despite the guy in charge, has turned off 250 major coal plants in the last 5 years. The United Kingdom, the country that generalised coal power for us, gave us boiling water to drive steam turbines, they've burnt less coal last year than they did in 1899. In over 100 years, they haven't been at this low point of coal usage. And so too the winds of change, the wheel of creative destruction in economist speak, is sweeping emerging markets like India. India, in fact, is going solar, and it makes a lot of sense. In the last 3 years, they've built 10 gigawatts of solar farms. 10 gigawatts is like 10 really big coal plants, like more than 10 Hazelwoods. The reality is that India is also trying to pursue this because, like China, they've got an apocalypse in their cities, like Delhi, and they realise that solar is cheaper. There's no fuel input. You don't have to buy stuff from Australia or Indonesia or anywhere else, or your own domestic country doesn't have to be dug up to burn fuel. So in the long haul, they plan to be there. The Minister for Power in India, Piyush Goyal, is on the record as saying he thinks in just a few short years, 60% of all new additions to the grid will be renewable in India. And he's got a lot of chutzpah and proof that he can do that as the guy behind the wheel of the power business in India. So coal is crashing, solar is rising. It's periods of change like this that create opportunity and jobs and new wealth. And yet Australia with Adani is fighting hard to hang on to the past, to go backwards in fact from where many of you have already led Australia with your solar homes, and places like the ACT with its 100% commitment to renewables by 2020 is already going. But we do have models to manage through the change. Places like California, where I come from, which will appear on the screen behind me shortly, which has managed to decouple fossil fuels from economic activity because it took a decision as a political matter about 20 years ago to get off coal. We did have coal in the state, we did burn it, we don't anymore. We bring some coal electricity in from Nevada and Utah, but that's all going to stop by 2018. And we basically said, we're going to champion this change, we're going to lead the way, and we're going to build renewables. And the renewable portfolio standard there is being busted every time we set a mandate, such that now we're on 50% by law by 2030. This is the 6th largest economy in the world, mind you, 40 million people, twice the size of Australia or thereabouts. And we know full well that we'll beat 50% by 2030 as a renewable supply of power. We actually think we'll be 70 or 80% by then. And so there's a bill in the legislature this season which says we'll go to 100%. 100% renewable we think is entirely doable. We can in handling this transition, we've created lots of jobs. 500,000 actually in the Californian economy. There's more people working in the solar industry alone than there are in Apple, Google, Facebook and Twitter combined. Google's already 100% renewable. Like it runs 100% renewable, direct access contracts and the like. Apple is going to be there in the next year or so. Facebook's following. It's basically the thing to do in California, and we've managed to do this while driving the most vibrant economy in the United States, and some would argue one of the most vibrant economies ever in history. Certainly we've spawned these companies like Apple and Google, household names you're probably using right now, that are ubiquitous and 100% renewably powered. So we haven't actually gone backwards. You know, the world hasn't fallen apart, the sky hasn't fallen, as some would tell you in Australia if you go renewable. Instead, we've been able to attract the best and brightest minds, innovate, build an entrepreneurial ecosystem to spawn these incredible companies, employ 500,000 people, have no-cost fuel inputs to our electricity system, and lead the world in the change that we all need. Which brings me now to the Adani mine in Australia, which the Australian government seems to think is such a good idea, we should throw $1 billion at. $1 billion of your money, ladies and gentlemen, taxpayer dollars. As an investor in the energy space, the way I would look at this is pretty simple. What's their market? Theoretically, they're going to export coal straight up through the Great Barrier Reef up to India, right? But as I told you, the Indian government's already on the record saying they want 60% of their power to be renewable within a short period. They're actually saying within 3 years they want to have no more imported coal. They want to go entirely to domestic coal for their thermal generation in country. So here we are putting $1 billion into a coal mine that's hinged on an export market which ain't going to be there. Your $1 billion is going to be at the bottom of the capital stack for a business that is never going to run out its life, because if we're serious about Paris or any of these things, a 25 to 40 year coal mine ain't going to exist for 20 of those years. It'll be shut down shortly after it starts. They'll go boom bust, as coal miners like to do, and the men on the top will skim some money, but your money will be left at the bottom of the stack and won't be repaid. These are classic tactics and strategies for businesses like this, and it's very likely that that is the scenario if this thing were to go ahead. But we know it doesn't have to, and we know it shouldn't, because the other reason that it's being proposed to do this, aside from the need for coal, which is not real in India or elsewhere, is the jobs in it for regional Queensland. But the problem with that, for the politicians proposing it, is that we do jobs. We do low-cost electricity, clean air and jobs better than they do. We do about 3 to 7 times more jobs per unit of energy than other technologies, depending on which one you're displacing, coal, oil or gas, and whether you're using wind, distributed solar, centralized solar, storage, etc. Broadly speaking, we do more jobs per dollar invested than these other guys. We're less capital intensive, more labor intensive, if you will. And that's why some of these countries are getting on board. The Chinese, in their 13th five-year plan, which proposes to spend hundreds of billions of dollars on renewables, is doing it in part to clean up the air, in part to live up to their Paris commitment, and in part because they think they'll employ 13 million units. So come back to regional Queensland, where this hole in the ground that you're going to lose your money on is meant to employ 1,480 people or something like that, according to the projections. Well, guess what? The Australian federal government put $70 million into half a dozen solar farms and a wind farm in regional Queensland, and with that $70 million support, they employed 2,218 people in regional Queensland. The fact is, regional solar projects, regional renewable energy, will employ many more Queenslanders than this thing would. And Adani would also probably displace a lot of New South Wales jobs because the seaborne coal market is going to get flooded with cheap supply if Adani came on board. And Hunter Valley mines that are currently operating would have trouble competing, and probably some of those would have to shed jobs. So the federal government wants to fund a boondoggle of a mine that's going to burn your money and not employ as many people as $1 billion could employ all of regional Queensland if they were to use it for renewables, while destroying the New South Wales coal. I know that you know this is a boondoggle. From the business point of view, this is a bad investment. From every angle, this is a dumb thing to do. And it will take you and all the people power you can muster, an army in the streets to stop it potentially, but we can do that. We've done that before. I know I don't look it, but I'm old enough to remember the Franklin. And that was a similar energy project that was all about jobs in a place and so on. And we had to take up the fight and resist the status quo and say that we wanted to preserve this wilderness for the right reasons, and so we did. And 30 years from now, as it is now since Franklin, no one's going to look back and say, oh, it's a shame we didn't let that country get dug up. Oh, it's a shame we didn't let that impact on the Great Barrier Reef. Oh, it's a shame we spent that $1 billion on renewables and jobs in regional Queensland that lasted the distance instead. They're all going to thank us for it, but it's going to take you turning out, stopping the banks, being at the ballot box, doing what you've got to do to ensure that we stop Adani. Thank you very much.